Bobby Moore and Sir Jeff Hurst, the Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. We celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. We're proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is More Than Just a Podcast. Season 12, episode 5. We were due to have a full house tonight, but at the very last minute, and I mean the very last minute, 5 minutes before we came on air, both George and Nigel pulled out. But we have got a late substitute, literally, with 5 minutes warning. Iain Dale,
sad.
founder of West Ham Till I Die, and off at the moment from LBC Radio, has kindly agreed to join us.
Can I point out that's because I'm on holiday, not that they've suspended me or anything for sort of malicious activities or something.
Well done, stepping in with 5 minute notice, because you don't do enough podcasts, really, do you?
No, only 6.
Yeah. Anyway, we have got John. John, where are you? What are you doing?
Hello, I'm at home talking to yous.
And of course, Canning Town Len, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm at home. I just finished photographing a new painting. I'm doing a podcast with you. It's not a good painting either. It's one that's gone a little bit wrong.
Yeah. You did. I hate to pick you up this early, Len, but you did suggest to me that Paqueta would be a phantom bid, and that when I said go ahead and paint it, you said
no. I said
buy
it sounds like a phantom bid, and let's be quite honest. As far as the Leon have admitted it was a bit of an agent game that they lost that, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's
more of that later. About. We're going to do I've written up my notes. There's about 4 pages of it. There's going to do a little transfer update.
You won't want me to talk then.
It's the last time we're going to talk about it.
Anyway, going back to my painting that went wrong.
Oh,
it's a painting. It's a painting of Glen Hoddle that I said to Nigel. I said I think I might like to paint Glen Hoddle in the long sleeve emerald, and I think I took more attention over the shirt than I did Glen's face. So keep them peeled. Watch this space.
Now, I'm a bit of a. We recorded last. What day did we record last week?
Well, you was only on for about 20 minutes, weren't you?
It was a Monday.
You can record that.
It was a Monday. Which game we covered? Did we cover the Viborg game?
Not the second one, I don't think.
The second one, you're right. That's the one we didn't discuss. So we are going to start with a Viborg. Did any of us go to Denmark?
No.
Let's start with our guest, Iain. Did you watch the Viborg game?
I did, and it was a relief that we actually won by such a convincing margin. Because given the league results, in a sense, the Conference League has been our salvation. It shows that they can actually score goals. And although I wouldn't say either performance against Viborg was sort of scintillating or anything, it was very interesting, I think, Skamaka, his performance, and also, I mean, obviously we'll come on to the game at the weekend against Villa. And I thought he showed some really good touches in both games and gave us, I mean, he looks like a real striker, doesn't he? Somebody who knows where the goal is, somebody who can hit the ball really, really hard. He can hold it up well. He's got some nice little touches. He can head the ball. To me, he seems to be the complete player. And I think it's going to be interesting to see whether he gets a few full games, because I suspect he's not going to start against Tottenham, which I would like to see him do that, because I think he would cause them all sorts of problems. So what I take from the Viborg game and indeed against Villa was that we've got a good player on our hands there.
Yeah, he does seem, and he obviously got another goal along with Ben Rama and Souček on the score sheet as well. With Cornet getting an assist and Souček getting an assist as well. So I think we joked and called them the dog and duck, or Danish fishermen, and I was expecting more of them in Denmark because I know they were missing 2 of their best players, but I don't know, they never really turned up, did they?
I
I
think you're
thought they
being really
played well.
unfair. I thought they played quite well. There was 1 or 2 players that you thought, well, actually, wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of them. I think the scoreline flattered us a little bit. That they certainly got stuck in, and it's not. I actually did think about going, but I thought, well, I can't. Given the state of my leg, I can't really drive.
Well, you got another chance. Obviously, we've got another Denmark game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of going to one, so maybe we should talk. Or Anderlecht, but Belgium. I don't know, or Romania.
No.
All right, Belgium or Denmark then. Anyway, let's do a quick stat attack, and we'll go to John. John, West Ham had 55% of the possession. Obviously, they had 45 at home. They had 14 shots, 3 on target. We had 12 shots, 5 on target, 4 corners to us, 3 to them. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a bit more of a, certainly the stats say, it was more of a even contest.
Well, you need to remember or bear in mind that when we were 1-0 up, Areola pulled off a quite a good double save.
Yeah.
And that might have made it a different game. So, I mean, I don't think they was as bad as you've been saying, or we've been saying. But I thought, we had better quality in spells than they had. And we got
Benrahma, in the form of his life, well, certainly in those games he has been.
Yeah. Well, and the Villa game, he came on and changed that, didn't he?
He did, and we'll talk about that later. How I don't know. David Moyes frustrates the hell out of me sometimes because he says after that performance, he says Benrahma frustrates the hell out of me sometimes. Sometimes he does good, sometimes does bad. On this game, he turned the game around. Well, why do you have to say anything bad at all? But then in the same interview, he praises Mikel Antonio and sort of has a sly dig at Scamacca going, well, I've told Mickey we're not changing things. We want another Mickey Antonio, and that's very hard to do, Scamacca looked a little bit frustrated on Sunday, but we'll come back to that later. But Scamacca looked more lively during the cup games than he did on the league game. I don't know if you agree on that, John.
I would agree, but it's levels of opposition and and service.
Service. He didn't get much service.
If you want to talk about, want to save it for the Villa game, but he didn't really get any service, but he did on occasion hold the ball up well, laid it off well, and he seemed to get better. I thought at the weekend as the game went on.
Yeah.
I thought his hold up play got better. To start off with, it was bouncing off him a bit. But
Look,
he seemed to
we're
get
in the
better.
group stages. We're going to get some money. Has anyone else bought their package of free games, home games?
No, thank
I know you won't, Len. You never do. You never did on the Europa. Ian?
Well, I can't, because if I go to those games, I lose my show fee. And sorry, but going to see West Ham in the Europa League is not worth losing the amazing amount of money LBC pay me.
Can't you talk to the producer and just do your show live?
It's a bit difficult to do a phone-in programme pre-recorded. So it doesn't really work. I would quite like to go to the Anderlecht game, and given that I was supposed to be off for 3 weeks on holiday, but then they made me go back after I'd been to Edinburgh for a week. So I am owed some holiday in the autumn, so I might go to the Anderlecht home game.
Could we not talk to DJ Russie and get in?
Who?
You could DJ Russie, the bloke who does the the button monkey who presses the button to play the music in the stadium. He's got a little DJ booth. Right. And you could do the show live from there while watching the game.
Well, in theory, it is possible to watch a game while broadcasting, and I have tested that theory to destruction on a few occasions. But it depends what you're doing. If you're just doing a common garden phone-in on a subject that you don't really have to do a lot of research for and that you know a lot about, you can probably get away with it. But I remember there was one where I did have it on my laptop screen, And I had to switch it off in the end because I just couldn't multitask because I'm not a woman.
Oh, right.
That's a bit sexist.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I can
He's covering for Nigel tonight, so that is allowed.
I was in one of my non-binary days.
Talking of that, are you still off tomorrow? Are you going to Spurs tomorrow?
I am going to Spurs tomorrow. I've got a consultant's appointment in Norwich, but sounds very Alan Partridge, doesn't it? At 2:45. Well, that can't take longer than an hour, I'd have thought. So I shall drive down to the London Stadium, and I've got this rather nifty parking place that I can use.
Don't park in Westfield.
I'm not going to tell anybody where it is.
You can tell me off air, so I don't park in. I'm going on the train. There's not a train strike tomorrow, is there?
No idea.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll have a look.
Lenny boy, I know you love these European nights.
Oh, I do from home, yeah.
Yeah, did you watch it though?
I did, of course I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think we can go on and win it?
Well, let's be honest, I looked at the draw. It don't look any easier than the UEFA draw from last year.
No.
There's some quality in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Said he's here to win it. He said, I'm here. He did say in an interview, I'm here to win.
When you look at the players that are turning up,
League.
Why not? About time we won something.
Yeah.
So why not?
And the FA Cup and the League Cup. He's here to win everything, he said today.
Oh, let's hope we do, eh?
Who's that, Moyes?
No, that's...
Who cares? Who cares who he's talking about?
I didn't think the Sidemen interview worked. I don't know if anyone's
No,
seen
I
that
didn't.
today.
I just watched it before. Come on.
Sidemen,
Bazinga,
Ian Payne is the Sidemen.
Ethan. I didn't know who he was. I just got it in front of me.
Yeah, where does he come? I've never heard of him. Where's he come from?
The Sidemen are, like Jackass. They're a bit like that. And to young kids, they're all the rage. They're big on YouTube, massive on YouTube.
Right.
But people like us would have never heard of them.
Yeah, my son watches him. He goes, it's Bazinga. And I'm going, who's that?
Well, I suppose it really mattered, did it?
It's difficult to interview someone when they don't speak English, although I think he can speak a bit of English. But the natural final question is, can you speak English and are you going to learn it?
Yeah. Well, I like the question where he said, I will get the blessing of Jeff Hurst.
Yeah.
Well, if I know Jeff Hurst, he wants some money first. If he's going to give me a blessing.
Slightly libelous, Sean.
Well, I'm just saying.
Very accurate too. So it's a good chance of that going through that claim.
Anyway.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. We have to talk to his agent. Anyway, we'll talk about the transfers in a minute, but let's talk about Villa. Our first clean sheet, our first points, our first win. Our first goal.
Yay.
Let's start with you, Ian, again.
Oh, it was like wading through treacle in the first half, wasn't it? I've never seen such a... But that was such a boring game. It reminded me of a match at Upton Park, probably about 1993, Sheffield United. And it was the most boring 0-0 draw. Well, I remember it as a 0-0 draw. It may not have been. That I've ever seen, and I remember wandering away from that thinking, why do I do this? Why do I go? Why do I come here to be bored out of my mind?
Yeah.
And this was a bit like that. And then it changed in the second. I can't remember anything in the first half that worked, apart from, as I say, Scamacca I thought did show some good touches, but as whoever it was who said he didn't get any service, they were absolutely right. And Jared Bowen, I'm afraid, has been a real disappointment so far this season.
He has.
He should have scored a goal on what was it, Saturday or Sunday, but didn't. Contributed very little else, and that's been the same for all the other matches that I've seen him in so far this season. So he's going to have to look to his laurels if he wants to stay in that team, because you've got the World Cup coming up. He ought to be in contention for a place in the England squad. Well, Gareth Southgate was there on Sunday. On that performance, he won't be anywhere near it. And we've got so many wide players now, because I mean, if Scamacca does come good and gets that number 9 slot for himself, and no one wants to see Antonio out of the team, so I suspect Antonio would then come in either on the right or the left. And you've got Cornet. Is it Cornet or Cornet? Cornet, I think. Of all people, you should correct me, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
My pronunciation of a name.
I've heard
Irony
it
is
said,
dead.
I know, right?
And I mean, he's looked fairly sharp. I wasn't in favour of signing him. I don't like signing players from relegated teams because there's a reason those teams are relegated. Now, everyone says, oh, well, he was their best player last season. Well, fine. he needs to prove himself. And so far, I like what I've seen.
You just reminded me, the miss, wasn't it? At
Oh, dear.
Viborg? Yeah, what a miss.
Freiburg,
He missed a few at Burnley as well. I remember watching it. Yeah, he got a few as well. But I remember seeing a lot of energy from him, a lot of offsides and a lot of missed chances, and I'm seeing it again.
But he can get past a player, and we
haven't
It's what we got that many that can do that.
Yeah, he's what we need. I'm not suggesting otherwise.
But Ben Rama has, I think, been the player of the season so far.
Yeah.
Okay, we're only right at the beginning. But he's shown some really good touches. And like you, Sean, I get really frustrated with David Moyes and his attitude to Ben Rama. He signed him. Presumably he was all in favour of the signing. It wasn't one of Sullivan's deals, I don't think.
Well, I
think he was.
Oh, was he?
I think he was the last of.
Maybe, yes.
Well, if you look at last season, where he wasn't in every game, his goal scoring record was good. He created chances, and he's carried that on this season. That people who seem to want to get rid of him,
he wasn't a present. All I'll say is, just to correct, he wasn't a present. He did sign off on him coming. So, but
I've been impressed by him, and I hope he plays against Spurs.
Elephant in the room. Declan Rice.
Sacking?
No. Declan Rice.
Shocker in the first half.
Yeah. Well, he's not had a great season.
He hasn't had a great season. And again, you look at him and you think, well, if you want to be in the England team for the World Cup, you're going to have to play a damn sight better than you are at the moment.
New baby, head turns.
Oh,
finding too much. Well, he's had a new baby at the beginning, literally at the beginning of the season. Whether that's, keeping him up, maybe he wants to be a hands-on dad. Has he had his head turned? Is he finding the job of captain too much?
Has his head turned?
Well, perhaps he should do a few less quiz shows.
A lot of people have said that, and he does do a lot of social media and a lot of quiz shows, but I don't know how many of these things he's contracted to do and, by his agent and so on and so forth, Some people like to keep busy, don't they, Ian? And do everything that's offered to them.
And if that's a dig, Sean, I say no to an awful lot of things.
Oh, do you?
And in the end, apart from this, in the end, it's up to him. And isn't his dad his agent? So he's presumably got a bit of influence there.
His dad, Sean, and his brothers help out as well. I don't know. Look, there's something that's just not clicking at the moment with the team, and I think he takes it personally. But he showed a bit of passion after we won, and I'm sure, like you, and let's move on to John. On our WhatsApp group, we were just slagging off for an hour, weren't we? Saying, why does he stay on? Why doesn't
Well, we weren't slagging him off at all.
We were saying I wanted Ben Rama to be brought into the middle, and Cornet to be brought on. That's what I was talking about.
But someone was giving.
I said to Fornells, I thought he was having a stinker. He was doing some air shots.
He was.
Yeah.
They were all poor.
Yeah, there was lots of bad performances out there, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
Come together a bit more in a second, but
and Rice has been very abject all season, but it was his pass, and he did improve in the second half, and hopefully that's a turning point. We got that bit of luck with the goal, the deflection.
Well, deflection, yeah.
Yeah, but it just showed that Villa are just another team.
Well, again, my question to you, John, is
confidence and
my question to you, poor Villa team, did we run our luck? What do you put down for? I think David Moyes said afterwards, it wasn't the performance, it was the result, right? And he's right. We're in a results game. But on balance, I'll just put my version in. I thought on balance we deserved it for the second half. Atrocious first half, but I thought we deserved it on balance because of the second half.
It's the absolute type of win we needed just to get us going. We've got a spawny goal and a spawny win.
And the reason I say this, because I like a stat attack. Villa had 58% possession. We had 42. They had 9 shots, 3 of them on target. We had 7 shots, 2 on target. 3 corners to them, 2 corners to us, 10 fouls apiece. You know, stats maybe say we didn't deserve it.
Well, I remember one of the shots because all the crowd started singing, "We've had a shot."
We've had a shot. That was 4-0 as well, wasn't it? It was 4-0. Sent it over into Rosette.
It's just how quickly we revert to that level of sarcasm as a fan base that we're so used to not being very good when we
Moyes
are
make the right
bad.
decision, starting the lineup.
I
No.
don't. I don't know what's up with Moyes. He's already said about Paqueta, hasn't he? It's taken him a while to settle into the Premier League, and
He's got to
you
get
just play these players, don't you?
Yeah.
Just play them.
How about Kira? Was he better? He played.
Yes,
Oh,
he
we
was
didn't
better.
talk about the formation because he was free at the back, which was different. It was a 3-5-2, wasn't it? So
I couldn't understand why he would do that against Villa. I mean,
he did talk about it.
If you're playing one of the
post-match.
better teams, you would maybe have a more defensive setup. But Villa are not one of the better teams. And effectively, it wasn't 3-5-2, it was 5-3-2 most of the time.
He
the
said it
first
was a
half.
3-5-2 afterwards.
Well, it wasn't.
But yeah. I
There's
didn't know
always
if
the
he did
argument
it.
with
Obviously,
three
it
at the
was
back, isn't it?
Emerson's debut. Did he do it to accommodate Emerson?
Maybe, but it didn't. It definitely didn't work. Having said that, Kehrer I thought looked quite good, and given that he's a regular in the German national team, he ought to. But I mean, Moyes is right that any foreign player that comes into the Premier League is going to have a bit of time to have a bit of time to adjust because it is different to the other leagues. I think the intensity is very different. So, I mean, Kehrer did not have a good game his first game, did he? Let's face it.
No. Game was
But he did a few good things where I thought, yeah, okay, you're getting there. And it'll be the same with Paqueta or anybody else, I suspect.
Johnson came off after 23 minutes to be replaced by Soufal because he felt a tight hamstring. Could be available for Spurs, according to Moyes. Apparently Cresswell was cramping up as well. Felt a groin strain as well. So, all these games are coming thick and fast. Len, right decision to take Paul Skamaka off 65 minutes and put Antonio?
Don't know. It weren't mine to make, really. I'd like to see the pair of them on at one point.
Yeah, I would.
Soon. But, look, I think it was all about the result when it went on.
I would say right decision to take Emerson off and replace him with Ben Rama at half time. But I mean, obviously, that goes without saying.
I was even going to go as far as say about this game. I'm not really sure why it wasn't working, why we're not creating enough chances. But I don't think it matters now. I think now, we got the new signing. They're going to have to change it more, isn't it? But there's a lot, the result was important.
Yeah.
Really pleased we got it against Villa.
We made 3 substitutes, right? We can make 5.
Yeah.
Who else was on the bench? Lanzini?
Lanzini's days are...
Cornet?
I think he might go this week, Lanzini.
Do you think so? I'm not so sure. Not what I'm hearing.
Well, if he didn't get on against Villa, he ain't going to get on in front of Paqueta, is he?
Ogbonna, he could have brought in Ogbonna to shore it up, to make sure we got the 1-0.
I think that's the problem.
He doesn't like to use... I don't think... Have we ever seen him use all 5 substitutes?
No. Let's not dilly-dally on it. Move on, Sean. Come on.
He has used all 5.
Has he?
Yeah.
But during the pandemic?
Once. No.
We've only been going for 3 games,
It's only
Sean.
been going this season, Sean.
In one game
Well,
this
no,
season,
I
he
thought
used
in
all
the
5.
pandemic you were allowed 5 during the pandemic. There was a rule that came in, no?
I don't think he done it there.
I think you could have extra subs on the bench, but I think it was only 3. Whereas now he used 5, and he has used all 5 in one game this season. I can't remember which one.
Okay. Right, that's the game's done. Let's talk about transfers because we've had quite a big one. It was interesting today with Paqueta that someone, David Moyes said that what did he say? He said, I don't know why they've said it's a club record signing. Sky have to put something on. And it was his own club that said it in the press release and on the website as a club signing. Now, interestingly enough, all's been revealed today because Lyon have made a statement saying exactly what the
Is that
deal was.
unusual what they did?
No, not with that statement. Not with that chairman. It's quite normal. So the deal, the fee that will be paid over usually 3 or 4 years is 36.7 million. But with add-ons, it's 52.6 million pounds sterling with a 10% sell-on fee. We don't worry about that because we never sell anyone for profit.
Is that 10? So that is just 10% of the profit, not
10%
the whole
of the
fee.
profit, yeah. And
Right.
and funny enough, I'll tell you who gets
Inter
and Flamingo.
15% in it.
They get 15% of profit. I think they sold for 20 million euros. So
Don't worry
Someone's
about
at-
that. There
someone's at
won't
the
be any
door.
profit.
no, they will get
plays
profit.
for
They
us.
sold. So Flamingo sold to Inter for like 45 or 50 million euros. But they retained a 3.8% sell-on fee. So they get a few million from this as well. Inter will get, I think, about 6 million euros or something around that, depending whether we pay. It's a bit complicated whether we pay all the add-ons.
But that's a lot of add-ons. I've never seen a transfer that's had 17 million pounds of add-ons.
Well, it's more than that.
Do we know what they are?
We don't, and I haven't asked, but they are usually performance related on appearances. Whether we get into Champions League will be some. Whether we qualify for Europe, our positional, all things like that. Does he play for his national team? That's the normal ones, Ian. So going back to Lyon, what they said was they were very precise. 61.63 million euros is the total fee, of which 18.68 million is in bonuses paid over 5 years. So it does sound like appearance bonuses, with a 10% sell-on fee. He was signed yesterday, and I know everybody was melting down what was going on. As usual, even though we agreed a fee with Lyon, I know everybody likes to say personal terms were agreed in principle, but personal terms agreed in principle means squat, because once the lawyers get involved and the agents get involved, it's never agreed until he signs on the dotted line. And the problem was that there was one major, I don't know what it was, but there was one major clause problem, and there was a couple of minor ones, and it took till last night to get it solved. And in the meantime, Arsenal came in and tried to steal and tried to hijack. And
Some people are saying it was Liverpool today.
It wasn't Liverpool. Someone on social media said it was Liverpool, but Dave, the bloke from the Athletic, said no, I didn't say that, and it's not true. I can't tell you where I get the information from, but it was Arsenal. Arsenal didn't have the money, though. They're against it on FFP. They wanted him to stay at Lyon, and they would come for him later.
I mean, that's so embarrassing. If you're an Arsenal fan, that is embarrassing. It's the sort of thing that we would do, isn't it?
It is. And, people try and hijack deals all the time, but, lucky enough, I would have felt so worse about him if he'd have said, yeah, I'm not sure, I might wait. Look, don't get me wrong, he probably would fit into Arsenal quite well. But if you haven't got the money, why would you try and hijack someone else's deal?
I suspect that Lyon might have, even if he was tempted, Lyon might have said, no, mate, you're going now. We want the money now.
Yeah. He needs a work permit. So even though we've done all the deal, we need a work permit. We were told he was going to be flown by private jet by David Sullivan to Hull today because there were no appointments in London to the Home Office to get a work permit. So I don't know if you know, and people go, oh yeah, but he's got a European passport for Portugal. Yes, he has, but post-Brexit, everybody needs a work permit now to play in the Premier League or any professional football or any job probably. We need to sort it. And it was a bank holiday weekend. So, but he wasn't flown to Hull today. There was a cancellation. You couldn't make this up. There was a cancellation in London and he went for his appointment in London. We don't know the outcome, but I think Spurs being cleared for him being registered in time is unlikely. He had to be registered by midday. There's no way that happens. So he won't be available for Spurs. I don't know about Chelsea, which is on Saturday. I think it will be a bit touch and go. As I
Do you
explained...
know this, Sean?
What?
Do you know this? You say that he wouldn't have been available today and by 4:12. You know that, do you?
I know that his appointment, right? So I don't know the actual outcome, but I know one thing. With these appointments, John, they don't just hand out a work... Like, here you go, here's your work permit. It
Well, they
doesn't
don't
happen
for
like
you
that.
and me.
No, but I don't think they do that for any club. My understanding is the red tape takes a little bit longer than it just being handed out. You know, if he had an appointment, let's say at 10 o'clock this morning, they went, there's your work permit. Right, quickly, let's get it over to the Premier League. If I'm proved wrong tomorrow, I'll eat my words. But my understanding is the red tape takes a bit longer than that.
I mean, Moyes surely would have known whether he had done it by midday at the press conference, but then again, he might not have wanted Tottenham to know.
He might not want... He sort of said unlikely, didn't he? You never know with Moyes, because he says a lot of words that, you know...
And then starts the same 11.
Yeah. So then he'd be on the bench. Oh no, he's not ready. Anyway, let's move on. Really good signing. Hopefully, he's in the guise of what he did at Lyon and not in the guise of AC Milan. I don't completely understand why it didn't work at AC Milan. Maybe one of you's do, but
No idea.
It didn't work out, did it? And they sold him for half the price.
I mean, what do any of us recall him when we played him?
He was good. Lyon? He was good. Yeah, he was one of their best.
He started the first game, but he didn't start the second game, did he?
I thought he did. I thought he played both games, but
I don't recall him being outstanding.
I remember him being outstanding in one of those games. I remember him having a big tussle with Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And I thought he was one of their, if not their best player, one of their best players.
I mean, from what I've heard and people talk about, these people who know and South American correspondents, he sounds like a really, really good player.
A lot of people say, and this is the warning, if Moyes doesn't play him in the way he needs to be played, it could end in tears. Same with Scamacca, right?
We need to change the team to accommodate these players.
You're right, both of them.
Change the style.
And Moyes has said he's aware of that, but him saying he's aware of it to journalists and doing it is another thing, isn't it?
He says he can play number 10 or number 8.
He does, yeah.
Which, if I was Pablo Fornals in that situation, I might be fearing for my place.
Wow. Fornals has been linked with a possibility, and we're going to talk about what he said, whether there's going to be more transfer business in a minute. But Craig Dawson does look like he could be outbound. He most likely might end up in Wolves. Both Wolves and Villa have made an inquiry for him.
How old is he, Sean?
32.
Right.
He's Rochdale born. His family's still in Rochdale. I don't know whether his wife and kids are still in Rochdale. I don't know that, but I know his family's born in Rochdale. He goes
you wouldn't
back
want your
there.
kids to be in Rochdale, would you, if you get my drift?
No. His child has been ill, and in
so I'm just playing the role of Nigel.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to ignore it though. His child has been ill in the hospital lately, Ian, and he had to rush off. Look, he's still coming back from injury. I don't think anyone would begrudge him leaving.
Nah.
X said he commutes from Manchester, which is close to Rochdale, 2 or 3 times a week, and one would think he might stay over then. And
if he left to be closer to his family, I think he'll always be remembered as one of our best players for the last 2 years. It'd be interesting to see what sort of fee we would get for him, though.
Well, we only pay 2.5, so not a lot probably. But
it's been more than that, surely.
You'd think so. 10? I don't know.
I would think 5 to 8.
We only need, if you think about it, to be fair to him, when a Gerd, or is it a Gur, I don't know how he's pronounced, is back in October, it'd be 4th choice, won't he?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Look, well, good luck to him.
So, Bonner probably gets ahead of him. Zuma definitely does. Kira does. And a Gur does.
Yeah.
So you can't blame the guy.
No. Let him go home and we can remember the
But they
good
do
times.
want cover up until the World Cup. So that the guy that's been mentioned is this Southampton person has come out.
Never heard of him.
Jan Bednarek?
Bednarek or whatever.
Bednarek, yeah.
He's a Polish defender.
Bednarek and Vestergaard.
He used to be their first choice. He used to be their first choice defender, but I think his contract's running down. I think that's what I understand.
And he was asked about it today. By the way, the noise you could hear earlier, John, when you were messaging me, I left a fan on Schoolboy Era, so I bet it's disappeared now.
Yes, it has.
Apologies to everyone. I'd left a fan on Schoolboy Era. I would be sacked from LBC, wouldn't I, Ian, by doing a Schoolboy Era?
They'll never employ Sean, would they?
No, not in a million years. I'd be sacked from lots of places.
Well, they've employed worse,
once a
day.
All right, wasn't that funny?
You got sacked in the morning.
I love the fact that he sacked you.
Sue did not sack me. I'm pursuing other career opportunities. Right, so this is what
That was
David
a career,
Moyes,
was it?
David Moyes says on Craig Dawson. He's back in training now. Ideally, we wouldn't sell him, but it's a much more complicated situation than that, which is ongoing at the moment. We just have to see how it goes. So that's very clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it means he's going, doesn't it?
He's going. I think by the time this pod comes out, it'd have already gone to Wolves.
Asked whether there'll be any more transfer business, and this is in the transfer in this press conference today. I wouldn't completely say no, but in the same breath, it could easily be yes as well, because we have one or two things we need to look at. We've got some young players who are wanted by other clubs, and things could change that way. It might not necessarily be someone coming in. It might be people going out. Ooh. But he did say, and by the way, one of those is Harrison Ashby, who Newcastle want. And I'm told it's a managed decision. If the reported fee of £2.5 million is correct, it seems a small amount of money when I thought he paid very well. But again, they've got to wait their chances, haven't they? And if they don't want to wait their chance, then what can you do? You just say, well, you might have to wait and never get your opportunity. So
we've been up in arms before, haven't we, as a fan base, where they've let these youngsters go.
Yeah.
And none of them have really come through.
Diangana. I was outraged by Diangana, but
me too.
He's not exactly ripped up any daisies, has he? Is that the phrase?
Yeah. And the other one, who's the guy who went to Watford?
Oh, yeah.
In Ghana.
Ngakia. Yeah,
but the thing is, if you're a Premier League club and you want to sign a right back and you're only willing to pay £2.5 million for him, I mean, that doesn't sound like a Premier League transfer fee, does it? Now, okay, maybe I don't know who their right back is. Maybe he wouldn't go into the team straight away. But you want to have some pretty good sell-on clauses there.
Yeah. How about Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Go on, Sean.
I know. Go on, Sean. Aaron from Man United. Loan.
Aaron who, Sean?
Wan-Bissaka.
Okay, him.
Yeah, him.
Ah, right.
Would you take him?
I think he's more of an attacking than he is a defender, more of an attacking player. But
is he right back?
Yeah, he's at Man United at the moment, isn't he?
Haven't we got enough right backs?
I thought so. But it came.
You got Soufal, you got Johnson. We know Antonio can play there if necessary. I'm not quite sure.
It came from Darmish, though. And Darmish is a man in the know.
I think Johnson is really maturing, and his range of passing and everything about him, I think he's going to be some player. And I think they should build it around him in that position.
Soufal is not the player he was, is he? A bit like Souček. I don't know what's happened to both of them, but they're not performing like they did in that first season. And I suspect that Johnson will develop into the first choice right back. But of course, he can also play in central defence. So it's part of me that wonders whether we actually need another central defender, given that we know that Cresswell can play there, we know that Rice can play there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Johnson's the answer on that in that position, and I always thought that maybe Souček and Soufal played too much football, and I think maybe a bit of that going on with Rice as well. I think they've all played quite a lot of football over the last 2 years.
There's also a couple of youth team players that, Baptiste was seen as the coming thing, although he hasn't really featured much on the bench or indeed in pre-season friendlies, so I don't know what's happened to him.
Isn't there talk of him going away, Sean?
Who?
Baptiste.
Jamal Baptiste.
There is, and I'm going to talk about all the ones that have gone out, and Baptiste hasn't. There's been another 2 today. Longello's gone to Birmingham, or just about to. Okoflex has gone to Swansea today. Udabecco's gone to Port Vale, Dan Chester's to Colchester, Joseph Anang to Derby, Thierry Neves gone to Newport.
He scored at the weekend.
He did. Vlasic obviously went to Italy, Toronto, Masuaku, Besiktas, and Trott went to some Danish team, which I can't remember. Nathan Trott. So
has he gone?
He has.
He was on the bench the other day.
He's been loaned out to some Danish team. So we're loaning a lot of them out, aren't we? That's good. I suppose it's not very competitive to have them playing the under 23s.
The one that I think is most likely to make an impact is Okoflex.
Yeah. He was wanted by Derby, but went to Swansea. Won his. I think they agreed to pay more of his fee, and obviously we lost Elise, whatever his name was, to Sunderland for £500,000 fee as well, didn't we?
So they're going to find it difficult to put out an under 23 team.
They've lost.
Did you see that one of because we've signed 2 or 3 players from Ireland this summer? Callum Marshall, I think, is one of them, and he scored 6 goals in 3 games.
Did he?
Yeah. Sorry, 2 games.
Yeah. Where are Swansea at the moment? What league are they
in? Wales.
Championship.
Well, it did. I did laugh because it said, Swansea today said, we are, he will sign subject to work permits, and I thought, well, it's only Wales, but I assume Okoflex is not English then.
Ah.
I can't remember where he comes from.
He comes from Ireland.
Oh, does he? Republic, obviously.
He was born in Dublin.
There you go. You're a world of knowledge.
If he's been playing in our team, can't that just transfer?
Well, obviously not. Otherwise, why would they say it?
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. No Brozier, no Gallagher. They ain't going to sign.
I'd love to have Gallagher.
Vanakin deal will not happen. I think. Look, I was told by a senior source that is our last money transfer, and actually, he didn't even use the word money. That is our last signing of the summer. So Moyes doesn't particularly like loans. We're not going to sign any 3 agents.
Ross Barkley?
Well, Ross Barkley is the quote. And funny enough, I did say that. So, no. Well, Ross Barkley, funny you should say that. What he said today is he was asked about Ross Barkley in today's press conference, and David Moyes said, I would never rule anyone out. Hang on. I would never rule anyone out, but I've got to say...
Hang on.
Ross, I gave him his debut at 16, and he's had a really good career. He's played for England. He's played for big clubs. This is the important bit. Listen. Yeah. If it is not for us, I wish him well on wherever he does go. Ooh.
What?
That's he's teasing us. Have you ever he's teasing us. He's teasing us.
Has he fucking teased us at all? That's a no with an underline underneath it.
I think the only business is, I think, replacement for Dawson and maybe Ashby going out.
Do you not think, though, that we're still a bit light in central midfield. Noble hasn't been replaced. Now Lanzini can play in that position, and obviously Connor Coventry can too. And it's interesting that he hasn't been loaned out. So maybe and Coventry actually, the couple of times I've seen him, I've been quite impressed with him. So maybe Moyes has decided that he's going to be the sort of substitute there.
Yeah, I think so. Look, and we've got to look at, we haven't lost, any of our big players either. Vlasic went.
Still time for Declan, you think?
Declan
Sean?
is not going anywhere, right?
I can still win that bet. It might be all about
Soucek
this.
is not going anywhere. Benrahma is not going anywhere, and I don't think Lanzini is either. I really don't. I think I would have heard something by now. 2 days left of the window. I just don't see it happening.
I wouldn't
if
mind
evaluation
Ross Barkley.
came in, don't get me wrong, right? If an evaluation came in on one of those players, on someone wants to pay over the odds for Lanzini or Benrahma or even Soucek, but what time have we got to get a replacement if it happens on transfer deadline day?
Well, let's go back to Fornals, because Barcelona are apparently interested in him.
Yeah.
Now, what price will he command? We bought him for 25 million. He's obviously improved as a player since then. Barcelona, I mean, they're a bit financially fucked, but they're still paying Lewandowski, was it 400,000 a week or something? So you'd have to think that we'd be wanting 35, 40 million for him. And if we were offered 40 million for him, I'd take it.
Yeah, no, it would be hard not to, wouldn't it? It would be hard not to. Anyway, we shall see. But I think, I don't want to spoil Sky and all the transfer. And
When's it finished? Tomorrow?
No, Thursday.
Thursday.
I think it's 5 o'clock, is it? Or is it 11 o'clock?
11.
It is 11.
But I would take, if Ross Barkley, if his character, if Moyes knows his character, given the amount of games we've got, I just don't see, anything wrong with getting Ross Barkley in.
Look, I'll put my neck out. No more major signings. Inbound. That's it. We might get.
Does he count as a major signing?
If
he's on a free?
Because
I think
you
there
still
will be
have
at
to
least
pay.
one more.
What about Januzaj? What happened with that?
He's going to Seville.
Is he?
Yeah, apparently. Look, I don't think 8's enough to integrate in. I don't think you bring a Ross Barkley in. There's no such thing as a free transfer.
Enough, but how many have actually left since last season?
I think it's a similar amount, but it's not the amount that go out and come in, because we know he likes a small squad. It's about integrating them in, Ian.
But of course it's about integrating them. But he's admitted himself that he should have signed a couple of players in January. So if we've actually got the same size of squad,
we have.
Then we probably do need
some of them weren't playing, though, to be fair. So people count like David Martin going, and Mark Noble didn't play the fullest, and Vlasic, and so you go, well, actually, at least you bought. Although the interesting one is Downs, right? I mean, Flynn Downs, hearing all kinds. We spoke about it last week.
I've been looking into that a bit,
and
from everything I can see written about the championship and spoken about the championship, he was highly rated.
Yeah.
So I don't
know what's going on there. I mean, there was even talk he could be loaned out again, but
why would you sign a player that you weren't wholly convinced of? That's what I don't.
Maybe it's just rumours. Maybe we should pay no attention to it.
Well, there's no way that he was a Sullivan signing, is there?
No. Talking about Sullivan signing, Paqueta was signed by Barry Silkman, our good friend Barry Silkman, the Silky. Published on. Are you friends with him on Facebook, Ian?
No, don't know him at all.
No. So he announced.
Didn't he used to play for Millwall?
He played
Palace, wasn't it?
He played for a number of clubs, about 3 or 4 clubs, and I think Palace was one of them, and I think Millwall was another one. Yeah.
I'm going to look him up.
Maybe I might have it wrong. Man City as well.
Yeah, Man City.
Leighton Orient. 11 clubs in total.
Oh, the Orient, yeah.
Google's great, isn't it?
Well, Wikipedia. He played for Wimbledon, Barnet, Crystal Palace, Plymouth Argyle, went on town to Luton Town, Man City, Brentford, Queen's Park Rangers, Leighton Orient.
He knows where the grounds are.
Southend, Crewe Alexandra, Wycombe Wanderers,
Well,
Chelmsford
it's not
City.
a Silky podcast.
And he managed Staines Town. No, he
Wingate
didn't play for
eventually.
Millwall.
And I gather Claret and Hugh's going to be renamed Claret and Silk.
Well, he is going to blog for them. Yeah,
Oh.
He's a good guy.
I have to say that is a weird one. An agent writing
Replacing
blog
Sean.
articles.
Is that why you got sacked then, Sean?
It's a transfer, isn't it? Sean's got sacked, and now they've got Barry Silkman in. It's shrewd business from
Look,
from
what
Hugh.
I want to say is a lot of people on social media, particularly Twitter, are praising Daniel Kredinsky for this window, right? And actually, the driving force behind most of it was still David Sullivan. The ball, look, it was a team effort.
I thought David Sullivan was just on holiday with his squeeze all the time.
Yeah.
And
Well, there
put
has
it in
been,
the
but
hands
on
of
this
Newman.
last one,
Is it not Newman to take the credit for all this? With Moyes?
no, on this last one, he was involved. I don't know about the other ones, but this last one is involved, and he appointed Barry Silkman as the chief negotiator, and it was Barry Silkman that negotiated with Leon. And some people won't want to hear that because they only want to hear that, Kredinsky is running the show now, but he's an investor and he's very hands off.
And how much will Siltman get from this deal, do you think?
He's not greedy, actually. In the past, he's sort of an intermediate. But do you know what? I won't say I don't know how much Barry's going to get, but I will tell you over the whole summer, there's probably around 10 million quid.
What, from Claret and Hugh?
What, West Ham will have paid Barry Siltman 10 million quid?
No. West Ham will have paid agents 10 million quid over this summer. Is what I'm
What
saying.
was that thing on the WhatsApp group that I said I wanted to hear Len say in the voice of David Sullivan? Can you remember?
I don't.
Someone else asked that today.
It was something to do with Paqueta. Maybe if he went to Arsenal. Can't remember now.
See if you can remember.
And I
Was
can't
it
be
something
bothered to
about
scroll
broken
up.
legs? Was it or?
No, I said that.
Let me give you a little bit of scores on the doors. With add-ons, 190 million is our outlay with add-ons for this summer.
What is
What
it
do you
without
like?
add-ons? Because add-ons are meaningless.
Well, they're not, are they?
They
200
are,
million
Sean.
Well, no,
pound.
they
Hang
really
on,
are.
I'll get back to this. 200 million pound with agent fees. Net spend 175 when you take away Issa Diop. And without add-ons, it's 150 million, which is exactly what someone said on this show. What the budget would be, 150 million. So our
Nobody
net
believed
spend...
you. Nobody believed you.
And no one believed me. 150 million on the nail, net spend without add-ons. 200 million if you...
Which, apart from you, frankly, nobody would have thought possible
No.
a year ago.
No. Look, and I don't want to just big up Sullivan. It was a board effort. The whole team came together, including Karen Brady. The whole team came together
Sean.
and delivered. Well done, Barry. Well done, David, Rob Newman, everybody else.
Now they've all fucked you over.
That's not true.
Every fucking one of them.
Hey, watch this space. Is all I say. Watch this
Are
space.
you gonna promote it now?
No.
All right.
In the future.
You're gonna put a question up.
I have put a question up. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I have put a question up. Is there anything else we want to discuss before we go on to question time? Has anyone got anything to promote or,
To promote.
I've got a new book out.
Oh yeah, go
Have
on
you,
then,
Ian?
Ian. Go on, give us
Not till October though, which won't interest anybody on this podcast. But
okay.
you never know. Actually, it's called "On This Day in Politics: Britain's Political History in 365 Days."
Oh, interesting. No more West Ham books then.
No,
How was Edinburgh?
Edinburgh was fantastic. Lots of West Ham supporters said hello. Got 3,500 people came to my shows. It was all a great success. Really enjoyed it.
Did you get a cut of every of the gate money?
Yeah, it's on the train up to Edinburgh, before I'd even started a single show, the promoter rang me and said, we're already in profit. So that was nice, because last time I did 24 shows and made a grand total of £724.
Oh.
So it will be substantially more.
If it's not in profit, do you have to give money to the promoter?
No, the promoter takes all the financial risk on it.
Oh, good.
So...
And what 6 podcasts are you running now?
Well, I won't go through all of them. But the one that is the most popular is For the Many, which I do with the former Home Secretary Jackie Smith. which we do every Friday or Saturday.
I haven't listened to it lately. Is it still quite smutty?
It's quite smutty, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's enough promotion.
We talk about her jugs quite a lot.
Oh, how delightful. Len, come on, are you promoting anything?
Well, you know me, I'm always painting and I'm always after a few quid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose I should take the chance to thank my collectors who have been purchasing them recently. Thank you to my collectors.
Yeah.
Can't remember all their names, but thank you.
Did you sell your bowling ground one? Did that?
Yeah, some chap come pick that up today.
About your Villa Park? Did you sell your Villa Park?
No, not yet. I have to do a little bit of a Facebook ad for that now. See if that sells. That's not looking good. No, we just didn't breach the sort of divide like I did with the Forest one. Like I said about the Tottenham one, didn't I? The other one. I won't get any interested in that either, really.
Well, you might get Dodsey to buy it because he got a selfie with Glenn Oddle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll make him buy.
I mean, I could do this, but
Dodsey's away day roundup.
But we don't know the roundup.
I don't know the roundup.
It's also actually it's another transfer. He's gone to West Ham, boys. So just watch that.
Yeah, so
his own little vlog.
So I'm going to just say
50 views. He's got 50.
Yeah, I'd say go on 6'2" and read it because I've got no idea because Nigel didn't send it to me, and so we can't do it. Sorry, Dodsey. Anyway, John, you got anything to promote? Any building materials you want to flog?
No, I've got nothing to sell. Or
how was the daughter's experience at Reading Festival?
It was an experience.
She didn't have her tent set on fire.
No, she had early bird tickets. I'll give you a quick breakdown of what happened to her.
Yeah.
She had an early bird ticket, so she got there Wednesday, and then they set up their tent. All her friends blew out on the Wednesday, so they all went and slept in their friend's tent. It rained all night, didn't it, Wednesday, heavily.
Oh, did it?
They got out of their tent to see her tent ruined
and
collapsed and destroyed. Someone had obviously sat on it or something. So she bought a new tent on Thursday. Then someone fell on it Thursday night and broke the door. So that was even before the music had started. But
have you now watched Woodstock Trainwreck now?
I haven't. No, I'm going to join. I'm going to sit down.
I saw pictures of Reading, and there was just a sea of rubbish and tents today. They need to clear up after themselves. Have a word with your daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not a music festival podcast. It is a West Ham podcast. One thing, actually, Finley asked me to mention. I know Ian's had this problem as well because Finley had it, which is the problem with. So, this is my first home game tomorrow. I'm going on, and then I'm going to Chelsea away. But this is my first home game because I was away in Mexico.
Yeah, lucky about it, Sean.
I'm going corporate, actually.
I know.
He always goes corporate for Chelsea, doesn't he?
I know he does.
And so it's the first time I've had to use the NFC pass. And I had all the problems everyone else did. And Ian had, and Finney had. And Finney said, mention it on the podcast. And because other people are having the same problem. By default, the NFC is hidden. In what world did West Ham think? I know, it would be really good to have a season ticket that is invisible, so you don't know whether you've got it or not, right? And what you have to do, because I was talking Ian through this earlier, and I was talking Finley, my son, through it, you have to go, if you've got an iPhone, you have to go in the expired passes, and then you have to find it and unhide it.
It's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It really brings me joy that your son had the same problem because I was feeling like a very, very old person.
No,
thinking, why can't I work this out?
He had the same problem. He goes, well, that's just stupid. And
they don't mind stupid ideas.
I wasn't at the Brighton game, but were there not people who couldn't get in because they couldn't make the tickets work?
Yeah. So what we said is apparently people were going in or just going back to the ticket office, and there was a bit of mayhem apparently. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow night and looking forward to Saturday. Anyway, it's time for this. Yeah, it's Facebook, Twitter question time, where I guess because we've got no Nigel tonight, I'm going to have to read him out unless you can
So
read
is that
him
why
out.
you haven't split it?
Well,
You're going to stick through it quicker than...
well, yeah, but also there's only about 8, right? So,
Right.
so I'm not going to split it this week. Can you read them, Len?
I haven't got it up at the minute.
All right, I can do it.
We can alternate
change
it,
there,
yeah?
then.
No, well, you know.
I'll start off. You can maybe join in. Richard Dodds, because I can't do accents. All right, my handsomes. How's yous doing? Is that right? we were utter dog shit on Sunday until the goal, but a win and a goal and 3 points. Thank you very much. Quick fire questions. Sean, when will the wall come down? I'm sorry, Dodsey, but it's never coming down. It's there to stay. It only affects you and your mate, so no one else cares.
Brady's wall.
The wall between the away fans and the home fans.
Right.
Yes, mate.
The only club in England that need to have a solid barrier between the two.
I don't know why. I've got a freedom of information in on it because I'm making friends with the mayor. Len, when is the weigh-in between Sean and Nigel?
Oh, this is still Dodds' question. How many questions do you want to ask?
These are quick-fire questions.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm ready. I will admit to you, don't tell Nigel this because he's not listening. He won't listen. But between the 2 holidays, right, I have put on 4 kilos.
But
it was 6 kilos, but I've lost 2.
What you need is to get COVID, because when I got COVID, I went down from 17 stone 9 to 16 stone 1 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I'm back on it.
I don't do kilos.
Although I'm out at Chelsea and then I'm with John on Sunday, so I might have to skip puddings. And Nigel kitchen update. Well, there's no way. Maybe he's doing the kitchen.
There is
tonight.
no update.
Yeah.
And Nigel, he has the whereabouts of where the nearest seesaw is, and he wouldn't tell anyone, would he?
No, he wouldn't. No.
I've had a look on Google Maps at satellites for it. There's not one in West Ham Park. So if anyone out there knows where there's a seesaw local to Stratford, let us know. We'd love to humiliate one of our fellow presenters on it.
It's just how we're going to work out who's heavier. Ian, we're going to put
I see.
Sorry,
I thought you meant as a shop or something.
I thought you were one of our 8 listeners, Ian. I thought you listened regularly.
Busy man, isn't he?
I listen to every.
You don't pay
show.
attention though. You switch off.
No,
Well, we all
that's true.
do that. We do that while we're doing it.
about 2.5 hours in normally.
Anyway, we're still on Dodds' question. He said the same thing. All of you, the new ticket on your phone is the biggest fuck up ever. It never updates and just disappears. Yeah, we agree with you, Dodsey. And last but not least, Sean, stolen pictures, Nigel and Stelios, how do I claim expenses as I'm not in a 0-hour contract with you 3? And Len,
You're such a whore, Richard.
Brady out. Well,
Brady out.
Dodsey, Richard, when he sent me the pictures of the wall, they did go viral on every tabloid, right? From me, he sent them to me. I posted them. They went viral. He's now on a mission for me. He's taking pictures of every away game, prices of beer and food, as a little job I'm doing to help the cause.
Good
so there you go.
grief.
There's another one. Miriam.
Should I read Miriam?
Yeah, go on then.
With tickets not automatically updating in the phone wallet, do you anticipate carnage tomorrow night at the turnstiles? Do we know how much the stooge made from exploiting the roving reporters' photos? As like Johnson, he seems to hardly be in the country these days, and someone needs to be paying for it.
I made nothing from the photos. 0.
The stooge.
That's you, I take
And
it.
there will be carnage, won't there? Evening games as well. People getting
little
there
tip
later.
for everyone: turn up early. Everybody. That
Oh,
I know,
piss off,
turn
Sean.
up. Turn up
Fucking
early.
turn up
Get in
early.
there
Why
early
if you
to
work
not
late?
have an expensive beer. And
Turn up early.
You're
to
on a
take pictures of
sabbatical. Shut your mouth. People could go work.
Yeah, well,
and then
I'm
get
going
in. And then get to the stadium and then walk there. Don't be so obtuse at times, you are. Obtuse.
Anyway, Michael Levy Jr.
You're not going, is he?
No, he's next.
Right. Evening, gents. No question. Just want my name read out and some love. Up the hammer. See, I like them like that. I fear for your one. Go on, you can
Evening,
have Ian
Michael.
Wiley.
much love, evening.
So, what I'm doing Ian Wiley, am I?
Yeah, you do Ian Wiley.
I can't even see Ian Wiley.
Go
This
all
is
comments.
going really well, isn't it? No, the next
Oh,
one.
I'll do it, Sean.
Go on
Fuck's
then.
sake, you gave it a really good go.
Yeah, go on.
Right, Ian Wiley. I can't remember the nicknames. Anyway, all right, lads. Quick question. The Mighty War, of course it is. All right, lads. Quick question for Sean. What's the chances of Brozier or Gallagher on transfer deadline day?
No, 0.
Yeah.
We spoke about it earlier. 0. You don't have to have 2 podcasts, 2 sessions today. Just one without Nigel. 0.
All right. Okay. Question to all. Talk of Ben Bednarek on loan to replace Bell Dawson. Do you all think he'll be a good replacement? Don't know the guy.
Well,
I think he's solid. I mean, he is a Polish international as well. I mean, he's not.
But hopefully he's not needed. You know, I've had 2 main centre backs are playing. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot of games, but
Yeah.
you know.
He'll be sad to see
Ogbonna,
Dawes
you
go,
know,
he says.
Ogbonna should be fit and
He's
third
been good,
choice.
hasn't he? Ogbonna's been good when he's played.
You know, you've got Kira, you've got Zuma, you've got Ogbonna. You know, you shouldn't need your 4th choice centre back. And in October, Agur's coming back, and you know, maybe it's just cover. And he likes his centre backs, just Moyes.
He does.
Okay, he'd be sad to see him go if he does, but he understands if he wants to be near his family.
Yeah.
We owe him that with the fantastic service he's shown us. Quite right, Ian. We all fit in the same, mate. Come on, you Irons. No Brady out, though, Ian. No worries. Anyway, on to Stephen Michael Pearce. Evening, gents. Looking forward to seeing which new signings we willing. That doesn't make sense. Looking forward to seeing which new signings we will see tomorrow. And I must agree that with Jason and the orange kit, it's probably the worst we've ever had. Can you guys remember any kits that were worse? Come on, you eyes. I don't think I can.
I can't. I think that was the worst kit I've ever seen.
You know what? I'm meeting some. There's a comment down here who says they like it, and I'm going to drop my son in it. He actually said his birthday's coming up in November. He said, "Can you get me a kit?" I said, "Which one do you want?" He said, "Well, either the home one or the orange one." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah."
No, I can't. I'm just too much of a traditionalist.
It's just wrong, isn't it?
It just looks like Blackpool.
It does.
We don't need that. That's what I'm saying. 125-year club.
Still, at least it's not pink.
Well,
are you watching the Everton game?
Everton?
No, Ian. You got the Everton game on because
I've got the Watford one on.
So Everton are running around in a pink kit at the moment.
No, you see, that's
by the sound of it.
I mean, it's horrible, isn't it? It's like
we should give a shout out.
Brown one.
What? Coventry City had a brown kit.
I mean, what on earth do these people think when they think, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea"?
You need to watch the documentary. Oh, this is really handy because the name's gone out of my head. But Greg Lansdowne, Bill's son or brother, depending which one you're talking about, done a documentary on them about the Admiral kits. Can't remember what it's called. Great.
They talk about kits a lot on The Price of Football.
I think
it's actually quite interesting, all the finances surrounding it.
Yeah. Talking of that, you've just reminded me, Ian, give a little plug and shout out to our friends at Boshat and Woody.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I had to renew
Great
mine.
services, Woody.
Yes.
Highly recommended.
Gets back to you within 5 minutes.
He does.
Yeah, he's fucking fantastic, the guy. Nothing's too much trouble for him. I love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Anyway, well done, Woody. Keep it up. And anyone who likes that kind of stuff, which, you know, go to Twitter, Bosch app, and
Woody Bosch.
Say, have any of you watched the Arsenal All or Nothing thing on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I watched it. It wasn't great.
It wasn't great because it's clear that Arsenal controlled the whole editorial content in that, unlike one or two of the others.
Yeah, there was something not right with it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're doing a Nigel and digressing.
Yeah. That's because, Anyway, Helen Lishman.
Well, you missed AI.
So you don't remember...
You missed AI, sure.
Yeah, but...
Are you coming back to that?
I haven't got him on there yet.
Okay.
I haven't come down to that. I'll go up to AI, Sean, then.
Go on, then.
Okay. No one remembered any worse kits, did they? Right, fine. AI Sean. Evening, gentlemen, including any agents and add-ons who may be present. I think that's a bit of a dig at you, Sean. Firstly, if Dawson does move back up north, let me say a big thanks. A man who proved so many wrong, including AI Sean, real passion and proper old school defending. What a difference a week makes, he adds. Who'd have thought after the Brighton meltdown that a week later we'd have 3 points on board? Paqueta would arrive and everyone would be happy. Never thought I'd say, this is a fucking story. You're supposed to ask a fucking question. Yeah. Never thought I'd ever see the day we spent 60 million on one player. You should get me for LBC. I've got fit in nicely there.
Just how to make friends and influence people.
Well, fucking hell. And 200 million. I've got to read this out.
By the way. You can't use that language on LBC. Mind you, I have got a way around that, you know. Instead of saying you're talking bollocks, I say you're talking grollocks, which everyone knows exactly what I mean, but Ofcom can't get me for it.
Okay.
Won't get you a Sony award anymore, though.
Yeah,
well,
you
they
have
don't
to
do
come up with
Sonys
some,
anymore.
And what do they do? What's the radio awards now?
Well, we don't take part in them, so I shall never win an award again.
Oh, okay.
Never thought I'd see the day we spent 60 million euros. I never thought we'd see someone say their price in euros, to be honest, for one player and 200 million euros in one window.
He's been listening to Sean too much.
Yeah, all in the cost of living crisis too. That's another dig at you, Sean. He's doing well here. Questions. Finally. 1. Does spending the Rice money this summer make sense given we actually didn't end up buying his replacement? I think it's a good idea anyway, isn't it? I think the big spend now is a really good idea. Of course, I would say that I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
But when you consider that, imagine the chaos if we'd sold Rice. Imagine what people would be asking for, players and shit.
I know this thing that we're spending the Rice money. Look, the money was, as people pointed out, we didn't spend money in January. This money was budgeted. 100 million was budgeted, and we were either going to borrow 50 million from Kredinsky or use the Michael Dale revolving credit to borrow the money. This is not Rice money. All right, just put that behind us.
Rice, baby.
Is the gap by block 113 and the Brady Wall now known as Checkpoint Sally?
No. Look, I hate to say this, and Iain just said, what is all this about? It is only a problem for the people right next to the wall. In
you can't see it outside.
And in my side, in 112, and I'm in the next one, right? I can see over the wall. It doesn't make any difference to me, but it's the people in 113, which is unfortunate, but it's a few hundred people. Sorry, guys.
Well, they can't see the pitch.
They can't see the away fans.
But there must be people
who gives a shit about seeing away fans.
Because they stand there for the away. They deliberately got there to have banter with the away fans, and now they put a solid metal wall there, and they're upset because now they have to watch the game.
But there must be a section of away fans who can't see up the pitch, surely.
No, the way it's done, it's just a metal wall all the way down. So the way it's on a corner, so you can still see the pitch. There's enough gap that you can still see.
So far away from the pitch, you can see round.
Correct.
Question 3. Sean, have you enjoyed your sabbatical and break from social media? Actually, don't answer that. Try this one instead. Will Paqueta stay for more than one season?
I hope so. I hope he proves an amazing success and turns into a Dimitri Payet without getting a girl pregnant or anything else that goes with it.
Okay. I'm saying
not that Dimitri Payet did that. You want to add?
Not that Dimitri Payet did that, but
yeah.
I know he did.
I'm trying to help you, Sean.
I know that, but look. Bring it on, Iain. I know for a fact.
Oh God!
I know for a fact on this one. I don't say it unless I can, very, very, very good sources on this.
Was there any prospect of him coming back?
No. I asked the senior source, and he said, too old, out of shape, manager doesn't fancy him, and wants a fortune in wages.
Yeah, but what about Payet? Not talk about himself.
Yeah, but the fact that he wanted a fortune in wages meant that there must have been a conversation.
I think agents tout these people about, so you don't have to ask the question.
It's a good question, though. What constitutes success for I can't pronounce his name. Paqueta. Because you can't judge it by necessarily the number of goals he scores.
Yeah.
You judge it by when you go down the Hammers and watch them, if you enjoy it better.
Yeah.
I think. We got to have this sort of... I said the last time we were on here, which wasn't the last one, but the one before, that we need to take a bit more of a frivolous attitude of it. And this is exactly what we mean. I know the title player is expensive. I know it's a once-in-a-lifetime signing, if you like. Well, it won't be, because there'll be another one in a season or two. Bet your life on it.
Thing is, you don't get to play 33 times for Brazil if you're shit, do you?
No, not really.
No. That's what they've been saying. He's their number 10. He's their starting.
Yeah. He's a Zico. That was his number, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
I just hope to have someone who steps up for a free kick and we think, right, there's a good chance this is going in again, as opposed to they'll never score,
Yeah, that'd be nice. Just a bit of hope, just a sort of bit of...
Anyway, back to the AI, Sean, last line.
And Len, Brady out, and the wall must come down.
It's not going to.
Tear down the wall.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
Right. Back to Helen Lishmond.
Yes.
A-level question. Luis Paqueta. Discuss. We've just done that.
We've just done that, yeah.
We've just done that.
We're ahead of you.
So that was good. Thanks for the question, Helen. Sean Cronin. Have we gone overboard on signings?
Overboard?
Have we? Yeah.
Well, that's the first time that question's ever been asked, isn't it?
I'd anticipate many would say we've got it just about right in terms of numbers, but it's going to be relegating a lot of recent regulars to impact sub-roles. Happy days. I welcome the numbers if it improves their overall quality, and maybe it will soften the blow of a Rice departure when it happens. But what do yous all think of our summer business? That said, I'd have loved Gallagher from Chelsea on the permanent. Keep up the good work. Brady out. I would have loved Gallagher. I would. If you said to me just one more, I'd choose him. But I'm also realistic about, with all these signings, law of averages says we'll have a flop or two.
I always remember when Spurs sold Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
And they took that 100 million or whatever it was.
Spunked it, didn't they?
And spunked it on around about.
Do you say that on LBC? Spunk?
No, we say spaffed.
Spaffed. They spaffed 100 million.
That sounds a bit worse.
No, it means exactly the same. We can say it because Boris Johnson said it on the phone in with Nick Ferrer. What was it about? About the historic inquiry into child sexual abuse. He said they spaffed all the money and that up the wall, which is a bit of an unfortunate phrase given the subject matter.
Yeah, really.
So my concern is we do a Spurs or a Spaffs.
Just only bring a whole different level to this podcast, Ian, when you join.
And we just don't gel for the season, and we just go through, like we saw at Brighton, where there's nothing really, it takes us too long to get the team gelling and working.
I prefer you not to mention gel with Spaff. This is a very sticky question. Sounds completely messy.
Dear.
What I didn't realise, I don't know for you, but Paqueta, Cornet, and Emerson all played together at Lyon, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
Oh, good shout.
There's a little connection there already. Get them in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Paqueta, Spurs fan?
Is he?
Well, I've seen a picture with him as a Spurs top, as a youngster. I don't know the connection. One would think that there was a Brazilian that played for Spurs, maybe. But I've seen there's a picture going around of him in a Spurs top, like it was a boyhood. It seems unlikely for a Brazilian, but it doesn't seem fake. You've seen it, John, haven't you?
Yeah. But, it came from a Spurs account, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Well, the number of fake pictures of Paqueta that have been on the internet.
Yeah, you're right. It could be faked. I mean, Rice is a Chelsea fan, so I suppose we shouldn't. It doesn't matter who your boyhood team is, does it? Really?
I don't care.
Jason Backhouse.
Yes.
Evening, gents. Nice to get a cheap pint at the OS last Sunday. Early bird prices were $4.95 a pint of Amstel in the ground for 45 minutes.
Correct.
Thus shall know if this will continue for the rest of the season.
Do you know what? I did see this and I said, sort of, look, if you can sell it for $4.95, why can't you sell it for $5.95?
You did say that. I remember that now.
I don't know. We'll see. They haven't shared it with me. I will be there tomorrow taking pictures of what the price of beer is before and after, in my crusade, boycott the bars. We'll see whether we make a change. I know that
It's been picked up by the FSA as well now, isn't it?
It is. I've spoken to them. I've got freedom of information in on this, and I understand what City Hall's position is. I understand what the club's position is, and I know what the ISC's position is. We'll see where it goes. But interestingly, and this is rather boring, but it's in the tabloids today. I'm sure Ian's run it on his phoning program if he only wasn't on holiday. But the price of beer is about to go up in pubs anyway.
Yeah, well, no, pubs are in trouble. It's not a laughing matter.
Yeah, so interestingly, although we might be complaining and it's not the mean average, all the other clubs are probably likely to put their beer up, so it makes no difference. But
Sarr just scored a cracker for Watford.
Oh, really?
Just so I'd had that in.
Oh, he's still not coming to us, Ian.
Also, what the earth is the third kit? Orange is not colour I've seen in any of our kits ever. It's a shocker. Looks like Blackpool. Is this the worst kit you guys have ever seen us wear? Well, Jason, we've already said it is.
Yeah.
And funny enough, right under you, Charlie Falk says, am I the only one who really likes the orange kit? Well, you're not Charlie, but on this podcast you are. Certainly.
It's growing on me, if I'm honest.
Yeah?
It's growing on me.
Is that because your son likes it?
No, I'm just... I don't.
Look, I know it's 4 kilos. That's why.
or orange hides the weight a bit better.
By next week, I hope to lose 1 kilo a week and get this puppy fat from the holiday away.
Puppy fat.
We've got Chrissy Mills. Once is coming from Chrissy Mills.
Cool.
Chrissy Mills, evening gents. Fantastic window so far. As good as I can remember this. Replace players not good enough for the bench with players that will walk into the first team. He did a poll on Twitter last week about GSB. He finished with a whole 4% on now GSB in, which really shows how distant they are from the fans still. It went up another 24% if they sorted out the shithole. Does the stooge know if Sullivan, Gold or Kretinsky thinks it's as an important issue as the fans do? Brady out. Do you think it's an important issue?
I think, first of all, it's a divide between the people that frequent Twitter. I think if you did a similar survey on Facebook or Instagram...
Or at the game.
Which
is really the only fair place
you would
to do it.
You would get a different answer. And in fact, most of the people I meet don't give a shit about...
But I give a shit, and so
does
does Chrissy Mills. That doesn't mean to say people like me and Chrissy Mills should be ignored.
I agree. Look, my seat, I like. My view, I like. I can't talk for people.
Stadium's shit though, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
No, it's
not.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
I'm moving on to Dave Jones.
Yeah, because you don't want to have this argument.
Do you know what? Every single... I have 2 season tickets, and every single person that I've taken to that stadium
loved
thinks it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, they would, wouldn't they? But the difference...
Listen to a different opinion, Len.
No, I know, he's right. No, you can love the stadium if you want, but we're never... the thing is, it's never going to be...
No, of course it's not.
Don't want it to be, Len. Don't want it to be. It's not trying to be.
The thing is, and I mean, we're kind of going over old ground here, but my heart wanted to stay at Upton Park for obvious reasons. I mean, everyone would have wanted that. But my head told me, no, this is the right thing to do.
At the time.
And when people say this is not a football stadium, well, it is, because football's played in it, and it hasn't got an athletics track round the side like a lot of stadiums do in Europe. I think when we play well, it's fantastic. 60,000 people rocking, it's fantastic. When we play terribly, it's awful. Just like it was at Upton Park, strangely.
I think it's a bit more...
But there's so many little things, like the stewarding.
Stewarding's not a problem anymore, John. I know
Is
you
it
haven't
not?
been late.
No,
It's not a problem.
no, it is. It is.
It's not
Yes,
a
it
problem.
is. Depends who's in your block, isn't it?
The access, the ridiculous stop and goes.
Again, not
the
a
way,
problem if
I
you
think
go a
the
different.
way the beer can just be upped and charged. The fact that there isn't any beer, it's just lager. It's just there's so many things that because it's not our ground, make it a horrible
It's just
experience.
listen. It would just be never been my football experience. That's all.
You're
I wanna
starting
sort
them
of-
off, Ian.
It's a
I
different-
think we
it's a
should have
different
let
No, I
you
know
choose.
It's a
I know
different
it's different.
experience. It is a different.
And I will
experience.
go as far as saying, and this is why I don't entirely agree with what Ian said. His comment is, I do think we're a bit of a different club now, and I think the move has seen to that, and a lot of people wanted it. That's to feel like a different club, but I think this is why I enjoy watching them a bit more in the box now. I don't mind watching a different club on the box, but some people lost out in the experience, and I think people like me and Chrissy Mills are two of them people. But
Anyway, let's move on. We shouldn't have
Things
stopped
change.
moving on. There's two more.
yeah,
You got a new
Dave
one.
Jones.
Yeah.
And because it's three more. Dave Jones, even though everything looks far more rosy in the world of West Ham, more signings and the first win on the board. My question is, do you think the spending spree this time is more successful than the one under Pellegrini? Brady out.
Let's hope so, because we
Yeah, it
were
looks
full
a
of
bit like it.
optimism.
Seems less risky when you think about
Well,
players
you know
like.
what? We thought Allaire was how excited were we about Allaire? I mean, it was tragic pictures, by the way, of seeing him in his sickbed, obviously recovering from chemotherapy. But we really thought he was the real deal.
Yeah.
I'm a bit nervous that money. I think it might have even been Nigel, and I hate to give him credit for this. Signings doesn't make successful seasons. Spending money doesn't make successful.
Yeah, that was his
seasons.
tweet this morning.
It is true,
everyone's
though.
everyone's
been a
like,
long
really?
day.
What a signing! What a great record
It's
signing!
true,
All
though.
this. No, you ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Nick Killington.
Yeah.
Even all, do you agree with Moyes' preferred policy of slowly introducing players in the FPL, in the Premier League? In the Premier League, it depends. I don't really.
I don't know.
It's
In
annoying,
Moyes we
but it don't
trust,
bother
so
me.
it's up to him. You've got to take it player by player, haven't you? And decide.
It's not just Moyes that does this. I think most West Ham managers have done that over the years. You look at how long it took Tevez and Mascherano to get
Crikey,
a game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was other forces at play.
Well,
that
there
they
were,
didn't play.
yeah, you're right.
But,
But I think most managers will only put a player in when they think they're good and ready.
I think it's frustrating where you're looking at Antonio running around like a headless chicken for 2 or 3 games, getting nowhere near scoring. He doesn't start. Scamacca is what I was getting frustrated with. But hey, he got his chance. But they all said he wasn't fit enough, didn't they, as well, at the weekend, and he could only play an hour. So
Who?
Or
Scamacca.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't get this at the fitness. I know he likes to run. He likes his players to run the most.
Tell you what, we beat Tottenham and we beat Chelsea. We won't be talking about any of this shit.
I know we won't.
Yeah, you're right.
There's one at the top, Matthew Kemp. Do you see that
I'm
one?
still talking.
All right.
I'm only had one line through Nick's.
Oh, go on then. Nick goes
You've got to
on forever.
understand these people. They're attention seekers, Sean. YouTube channels and all. They don't ask one fucking question. They want their own little section.
Platform. Yeah.
I mean, we've got a Sony Award winning. Now the God, he gets a fucking word in. You got all these people. Oh, don't leave me alone, please. Do you agree with what? Oh, I said that bit. Or has he forced the induction of Kerr into the first team, demonstrated how to actually get players up to speed by playing? So I said that again because I did understand it because I read it. Or has the forced introduction of Kerr into the first team demonstrated how to actually get players up to speed
By playing.
by playing? Yeah, I see what I put. Yeah,
Didn't
Kerr's
go very
first
well in
game
the
was.
first game.
Yeah, but that's
No.
his point. Kira's first game was crap, he's saying. Second game was better. Third game was superb. I'm not sure about superb. In other words, you've got to play them to make their mistakes.
Yeah, you got to let them. Yeah, throw them in.
Mistakes.
Is it to protect the new player, or is he protecting his existing players' interests?
Who
Well, maybe it may be both. Maybe he's old enough to realise this is the best way to do it, because you don't put someone's nose out of joint, you don't throw someone at the wolves. So
but you'd like to think someone like Paqueta, who plays for Brazil, played it for Lyon every game, and he must have had a pre-season and he's played their games.
Yeah.
And sort of plays in the European. He's played in the Champions League and the Europa League. Could step straight in.
Yeah, we want him. You play, son, and you fucking enjoy yourself. That's what we want to see, really.
You know the argument, though. The Premier League is played at a far faster pace than any other league.
Oh no, the ball's just going to slow around him. He's in slow motion.
Who's got crisps?
You know who it is. It's the fucking Sony Award winner. He does this all the time.
Just fancied a hula hoop.
Yeah. Right, come on. We've got a last question.
Roll on Spurs. Is it to protect the players? Roll on Spurs. We are going to wallop. He's very confident about Spurs.
I don't think we're going to wallop Spurs, but there you go.
Matthew Kemp, Evening Gents. So where exactly is the money coming from, Sean? Second highest net spend in Europe.
Well, do you know what? It's a really good question. I'm glad you asked this, Matthew. Well, it is, because we earn £38 million from Europa League. Between the ticket money and the prize money, 38 million quid. We had, I think, 40 million to spend or 30 million to spend in January, and we budgeted another 40 million this summer. So you put them together, that's where the bulk of the budget came from. Europa money and 2 transfer windows put together. And then the top up was going to be funded either from, as I said earlier, Michael Dell or Kredinsky.
Well, plus extra TV money, plus extra money for finishing in the top 6 or 7. What, 2 seasons running?
I think we'd budgeted, after last year finishing top 6, I think we budgeted like top 8. So
there you go.
Maybe there was... we got cats on the show now.
We got Len playing with his pussy.
Yeah. So, that's where the money comes from. Look...
Iain, let's not get all smarty. It's not one of your political podcasts.
The money's not being put, they're not putting their hand in the directors, including Kredinsky, is not putting their hand in their pocket and paying for these out of their own money. As we've always said, you pay roughly a third or a quarter of the money up front. You either pay it over 3 or 4 years. So, we've got to find a third or a quarter of it. The add-ons get paid if they get achieved, and we'll see how it goes. So, fair play to the ball, team effort. And that's it, isn't it, for question time?
That's it for question time.
Right,
that's
predictions.
End of question time.
Predictions. Let's start with you, Iain, because you've just got a mouthful of hula hoops.
No, I
Beef?
won. I thought there were 2. No, salt and vinegar.
Yeah, nice.
2-1 against Spurs.
Yeah, and Chelsea.
Chelsea, we lose 3-1.
Okay. Len.
I was talking to a neighbour, reminding him of the fact that when Spurs are brilliant and unbeaten, we beat them. I don't expect any different tomorrow.
They've won. I haven't been beaten in something away games, haven't they?
Okay, 2-1 the Hammers.
Yeah.
Chelsea. We're away at Chelsea, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be... Who plays against Chelsea? And who from Chelsea plays against us?
Sterling scored again tonight for him.
Are you trying to drag this out to 2 hours?
1-1.
Okay.
But really, I think Chelsea are going to beat us for no reason, so I can't say that.
John, Spurs, then Chelsea.
I think we're going to draw against Spurs tomorrow night, 1-1, and
I'll take that.
We're going to beat Chelsea 2-1.
Okay.
Paqueta's debut.
Just like to mention, I got one right last week. I said 1-0 against Villa. I got it right. Who'd have thought? So this week, buoyed by that, I am going to go 1-0 win against Spurs and a 1-0 away win against Chelsea.
A 0 against Chelsea, yeah?
1-0. 1-0.
Yeah.
Come on, you Irons. I have been Sean. Iain has been...
Waiting for this to end so I can put the oven on.
And thanks for coming at last minute. John has been...
Happy to be here.
And Len has been...
Shit at reading questions out.
Come on, you Irons. Bye.
Bobby Moore. More than just a podcast. Bobby Moore. More than just a podcast.